Okay, on the ICOM 705 and the ICOM 7300, it's identical the way you check for your standing wave ratio, SWR. And I'm going to use the Comet model CA 2x4SR. It's a VHF, UHF antenna. The gain is supposed to be like 3.8 and 6.2. 6.2 would be on the UHF band. This would be over dBi. I believe that's normally you reference it to a half wave, but they're referencing it to a quarter wave. Little market trick. But anyways, let me zoom in. First thing I'm going to do is stop the scan. And I'm going to use my SWR control to switch frequency. And then I'm going to go right here to SWR. Okay, that was my last reading on this antenna. And it covers from 143 to 149. Basically, it's about 6 megahertz, 3 on each side. But of course, we're going to be actually doing 144 to 148. So, again, I can use either the push to talk or my SWR control. Hold on. Okay, I guess it would help if I switch that. There you go. Now we do it. Okay, hold on. One thing I should mention, once you hit this button here, you can't move anything. You can't change anything other than the push to talk. So, okay, so that means I have to use my mic. Okay, I took a closer look. Interesting, I wasn't aware of this. When I'm using the SWR control for SWR reading, the way the software works on this firmware, it doesn't allow any remote control. The only thing I can do is hit transmit, but I can't step through it. So I would have to use a mic or my CW key. Okay, so this is the previous standing wave ratio. As you can see, it's flat. And I'm just going to show. If you notice, I put it in the middle of the band, 3 megs on one side, 3 megs above. So it covers the whole 2 meters. Unfortunately, I'll need to do that 3 times for UHF. I want to measure right across the whole band because of the bandwidth from 430 to 450. Okay, let's check. There you go. Now, let me check what the power is. 100%, so it's 10 watts. According to the ICOM manual, the IC705, to get the most accurate SWR reading, you need 5 watts minimum. On the ICOM 7300, you need 30 watts maximum. Usually I start with 1 watt or 2, especially if it's an unknown antenna. I don't know how well it's matched or not matched. And what's nice about it is if you have a high SWR above 3 all the way across, you don't know which way to tune. So you lower your power so that it's below 2 or less. And as you improve your matching and it gets down low enough, then you can increase the power until you hit the maximum 5 on this one and 30 on the other one, and it'll be flat right across. So this is on the CA 2x4SR. It's about 42 inches. I will show you some information, pictures on it. the way it's mounted right now, it's on one of those tri-magnets, the smaller ones. I have a real big one there for HF and a smaller one, mid-size, which I use for VHF, UHF. And it's just sticking on a cookie sheet on the floor. And that's the type of SWR reading. No matter where I put it, I can put it on top of a chair, on the table, I put it outside. The only difference, the worst I can get is about under 2. You'll see a curve like this. So no matter how close I am to an object, which is good. So when it comes to 2 meters, it's great. UHF's a little bit different. Okay, let me just switch here. Here we go. I use the SDR control. And there you go. On UHF, this is the type of curve I get right across the band. And again, it would vary depending where I put it. But I don't think I ever seen it go above 3. It's usually around 2, maybe a little bit higher, which is good. As long as 2 or less, I'm happy. So when it's 3 and 2, it's when I don't care for it. Okay, let's key it up. Okay, there you go. Okay, I kind of set this up for the particular area that I want to work where that dip is, which is about 2 megs, which is quite wide. This type of pattern continues right up to 450. More than acceptable. It's an unusual antenna. It's the first time I've had this type of antenna. The other ones I have were simple VHF, UHF with a coil in the middle. Can I recommend it? Yeah. It satisfies me. One interesting thing, when I first got this unit, the dealer said, if I'm not happy with it, bring it back. And so when I first fired it up and set it up, I said, whoa. It was high, 3.0 or something like that. And I took a close look. There's no tuning instructions. I don't think it's really designed to be tuned. But I went and checked all the connections, and to my surprise, the elements were not fully seated. The one on the bottom was kind of halfway up, so I dropped it down, and also the top element was halfway up, and I dropped it down. So obviously it was tuned for a different part of the band, I guess, not the one I want to use. I'm assuming that's the only tuning, because that's the only area where I could move a rod. You go past halfway point where they had it, you'll probably start losing pieces on a highway. So once I did that, that's the result I got. So keep that in mind. Okay, let me show you something. I'm going to take it vertically here. The antenna doesn't come with this. And this is how it looks. First time having this type of setup. So it looks like probably 3 coils, 4, and this unit here. Okay, let me talk about this thing. It's actually it's quite strong, can't complain. There are about several suppliers selling the same thing, all at a different price, varying from, I don't know, $30 to like $90. I got this, I think, around $30. When it arrived, this thing was off. The bolt was inside, behind the seal and everything. So I was going to return it and exchange it, and I decided, just of curiosity, what was wrong with it. So I took it apart, and sure enough, they used screws and one nut, no lock washer or anything. And it was easy to take apart and put back like it was before, so I just kept it. For what I wanted to do, it was perfect. I would, if I was going to use this mobile all the time on a highway, first thing I would do is replace these nuts with lock washers. Otherwise, it works great. This is a PL259 base. Okay, put the antenna back there on the ground. It just mag mount sticks on a cookie sheet. It works great. I did a quick test to see if there's any difference. Let me switch to, oops, wrong way, to this one. Actually, slight improvement, if you noticed from last time. Yeah. Now, I guess I can't complain. I would like to have seen a better result on UHF, but it's more than adequate. It's not going to affect it. Okay, let's just get out scope. One thing I was going to mention, seeing we're talking about the repeater list that I created. Okay, let's go down to Alberta. Okay, I'm wondering if okay, I think I need to go to DV mode, do I? Let me check. Okay. Yes, on to see one of the advantages that I like about adding the FM repeaters, when I'm in DR mode, not DV but DR mode. Oops. There we go. Near repeaters. FM. Notice how it gives me the distance of all the repeaters. So, about a dozen or so that are within a reasonable range. And the same with this. This would then be the digital voice repeaters. And I guess this is a mixture of all of them. So having that is great. So as a result, my modified repeater lists for digital voice, I'm leaving. I'm going to be adding one more feature, which we'll probably demo or show when I'm doing a hotspot for digital voice. And I need to use this to get the full benefit. So it'll be another modification to the list. To get in and out, I just hold the call button, and it takes me out. I got the volume turned down a bit here. Okay. Well, hopefully, if you're looking at antennas and looking at this IC705, you get to know the pros and cons, and anything that I feel could use improvement, I've mentioned it. Oh, speaking of that, it's a BNC connector, and I use an angle BNC connector, so this way the antenna is not sticking out this way, but goes in this way. Maybe I could demonstrate it there, like that. And regarding the microphone, I have B to switch from memory mode to VFO, and I use the A button to start and stop scan. And these are up and down, I guess, but I use these two buttons a lot. It's much quicker than reaching to the IC705. There's only one thing that caught me by surprise. I was hoping or thinking that there would be a speaker output. But in fact, let me turn up the volume here. it's actually coming through the microphone. If I unplug one side of the cabling, then it'll come through the speaker. But I have not been able to have both running at the same time. I don't think it's designed that way. However, it has Bluetooth, and I did experiment connecting my iPad, my iPhone, and Apple headphones. You can connect to them and use that, or headset speaker mic type of combination. It works using Bluetooth. There's another option. If you have a speaker that has built-in Bluetooth capabilities, like a desktop speaker. If not, there are little cheap Bluetooth devices that you can plug into the speaker can be plugged into it, and then you can wirelessly over Bluetooth listen to your speaker. So there are options. But I'm impressed with the speaker quality. It works. I find I'm not missing having an external speaker. Makes sense for a portable and mobile unit. A lot of people actually use rubber duckies on these radios, would you believe? For VHF, UHF, it works great. It's not a problem. Especially, like I have walkie-talkies here, and I can trip several repeaters and chat full quieting. So, could do the same with that. It has a built-in, not a built-in battery, but battery pack, like a walkie-talkie. And you could walk around with a rubber ducky, battery, just like a handheld. So it's useful for some scenarios there. I can see that. Okay, I'll cut this short. I'm sure it's going to be long enough. Don't want to bore people. I would appreciate if you subscribe if you haven't, and thumbs up in particular if you do like it, and feel free to comment, and I will be checking, and the minute I check, reply, it will be posted. So thanks again. Your help, we appreciate it. Okay, here's a screenshot of the specs, and looking at it, it's interesting. Apparently, there is tuning steps involved. What I moved was probably shifting from 144 to 148 or 140 to 160. So two adjustments, the top element and the bottom element. And it's a very broadbanded antenna. I will, of course, test it when I'm mobile, but from my past experience, I have a bunch of other ones, and the performance will be basically as advertised. Just remember, it's a measurement against a quarter wave, not a half wave. If it was over a half wave, it would be a fantastic gain. But okay, just thought I'd throw that in.